All right, we're back, everybody. So, yes, if you're watching this, this is a second version on the YouTube video, and the two audio tracks will be mixed together. But yeah, so had a fire alarm. Someone burnt chicken downstairs, and that caused the entire fire alarm to go off. I learned you didn't have to actually get evacuated, but that would have kept blowing or not blowing or whatever the noise.
The sound
The
would have kept
alarm.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, the alarm. I saw when I was going downstairs, I saw my neighbor across the hall go up. She didn't care, but everybody's okay. And this leads to a really cool two-part podcast. So where do we leave off? We were talking about Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And we talked about him being good. That's a good deal. So what conveniently happened with this is that you got to see the Raw after WrestleMania as we record Monday, and this airs on Friday the 8th. So now, Ryan, this kind of paralleled for what you were saying. First promo back, Cody Rhodes pretty much. Did he pretty much say his championship pursuits? I'm glad I'm back. What did you think of the promo the first night after WrestleMania?
Yeah, it's good. He didn't spend too much time on AEW. He did do a little bit of a callback to AEW at the start of the promo, the first line, which I thought I liked. But again, if you didn't watch AEW, you're not going to miss anything really. It's an Easter egg, but it didn't impact. It wasn't important to the promo. But yeah, I mean, he just said, "My dad is Dusty Rhodes. He never really held the WWE title, and I'm going to change that." It's the best story they can tell, especially since they can't, do the whole Vince doesn't want me here thing, because Vince just, signed into a multi-year contract and everybody knows it. So I'm glad they're not doing the royal families colliding thing, because I've heard some people say that should have been what they did. Obviously Triple H would have been an interesting person to feud with if that's where they went, but that can't happen either. So with Triple H off the board and with the real facts of like the actual signing being so like out there on social media, I think this is the best story they can tell. And also I think it has to end with Cody winning the WWE title. I don't know when. And I don't know if it'll be the WWE title, or I don't know how that'll work, because now the titles are all on Roman Reigns. But like I said, and last night proved it, there isn't anyone bigger than Cody right now on the roster in terms of, on the face side. Roman, of course, is bigger than Cody. But yeah, there's no one right now. So the only person that they could use to take the title, any title or both, off of Roman Reigns is Cody Rhodes. So whenever that happens, it'll happen sometime, probably within the next year. Maybe they'll give Roman a whole other year. I really don't know. I don't know what they'll say, but yeah, he did pretty much what I figured he would do, especially since they couldn't do Triple H. And I don't think they're doing Seth Rollins again. I think Seth was genuine in his handshake. He also tweeted like "Welcome back" or "Welcome home" after the segment ended.
Yeah.
So I think that was genuinely like we had
that was
a cool
shoot
WrestleMania
handshake.
moment.
That was a shoot handshake.
Obviously not shoot, because they booked it. But I mean, I think it was not meant to be like, oh, Seth's got something planned. Even though they on commentary they kind of made it sound like that could be what was happening. I think it was just genuinely they wanted to get Seth Rollins on the Raw after WrestleMania, and apparently, all you have to do is show up and talk, and it counts as doing something on the Raw after WrestleMania. So that was how they got Seth on the Raw after WrestleMania, and now they're both going to go their separate ways, probably.
Yeah. I agree with Ryan. I'm pretty sure that I think everybody here was agreeing that he was gonna come out and do a whole face promo. A part of me thought that maybe Cody was just gonna build, because he kept building up the crowd in the beginning of the promo just to start off the run. I'm like, what if he just turns and just hits like Nightmare Cody? I was like, that would, I don't know, it'd be a little crazy, but I'm happy he just stuck with the face promo. I'm also happy that he didn't bring up AEW too much, because I don't think you really have to do that.
Not on that channel. The other channel, you kind of have to do it. And that's not a slight. That's part of their identity, is as a counterculture. They acknowledge other companies. So in AEW, if you do have WWE, credentials, you kind of need to address it. That's what those fans are expecting. WWE fans are not I mean, live fans. Obviously, the people on Twitter are a different story, but like the live fans they're not thinking about the other companies all that much. Although there's obviously there's some knowledge, because again, he didn't become the biggest babyface on the company in one night because he was Stardust 6 years ago. So they're paying some attention to AEW, the general WWE audience. And this is, of course, one of the most, like, quote unquote, hardcore audiences of the year, the Raw after Mania and the Mania itself. So, but yeah, I think, again, AJ is 100% right. He kept it exactly where he needed to keep it. He didn't get too much into the weeds on the old stuff.
Yeah.
And also, including that Raw after WrestleMania, just some funny things to point out. Well, first, the big debut of Ezekiel. Are we excited to see his championship pursuit? Who is clearly Elias's brother, not Elias.
Not Elias.
Because obviously.
And he took, and by the way, so we know, he took over Elias's Twitter. So Twitter is at WWE Elias. But the name is Ezekiel, Elias's younger brother. And he tweeted out, since Elias isn't using this, I'm going to use it. I'm his younger brother, Ezekiel. This is horrible. This is really bad. None of this is okay.
Why is that?
Ezekiel, we just talked about how they have no one to challenge Roman Reigns. And so your big idea is, well, Cody will talk and we'll do Ezekiel. I don't. The only good news is I think Kevin Owens might beat Ezekiel.
Go
from Stone Cold Steve Austin to Ezekiel. The brand new.
I was gonna say that's his big return. Like that was his big. Like we've been waiting for him to come back, and he's Ezekiel.
I thought they could have put him with Edge.
That could have been a good, because I think he's starting a faction now, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to call it a faction with just Damian Priest. Although Damian Priest is two people, as we know. Damian and whatever they called the other side. I think it was Damian Priest and Damian, which was weird to me. So it's three people if you count both halves of Damian Priest. But yeah, I thought that would have made sense. I thought a move to SmackDown could have made sense. Maybe showing up on NXT again as the Drifter, like go back all the way back, run it again. This time, you're in an NXT with more character like driven stuff. Like one of the main guys on NXT right now is a mob boss, or not really a boss, but a mobster, Tony D'Angelo. Like, you know what I mean? Like they have these characters. Wendy Chu is just asleep all the time. They're doing kind of the more cartoony characters on NXT right now. The Drifter might actually fit, and it's a callback to the old NXT, which fans will enjoy. But it might actually be better the second time around. I don't know. This Ezekiel was not what I was expecting.
Isn't that the point? To see things that will surprise you.
No, that's not the point. Well, you surprised me, but it has to surprise me like the hand slapping Sami Zayn at WrestleMania surprised me, not like Ezekiel. Different kind of surprise.
So, talking about the faction, and that could transition to the next match we could talk about. So you have Edge and AJ Styles. Edge is going through this. You got to do anything to actually get legitimate heat on me, because like Ryan, you said, no one wants to boo Edge. But they had this idea, let's do this faction. We'll preview at a WrestleMania where AJ Styles and Edge had a pretty good match, and his only mistake was he looked at Damian, and that cost him the match.
Yeah,
that split second of looking at him leading the spear, and they're clearly growing something. Do we have a name for it at all? Do they say it, or they'll just dressed in?
I don't think they said it yet. I mean,
just in black and purple for now, and
could be New Brood.
Theme.
But it's not very broody, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of people call it the New Brood because obviously Edge was part of the original Brood. But this is almost more like Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness from way back in the Attitude Era, which Edge was also a part of. But this has almost got that vibe, the Ministry of Darkness. We'll see. I mean, the Ministry of Darkness permeated the entire show to the point that Vince McMahon joined. Sort of. So I don't know if they'll ever let anyone besides Roman Reigns take up that much of a show ever again. But if they do, it could be really cool.
And relating it to their match itself, Edge and AJ Styles.
I mean, that was great. It was long. It was the longest match. It was the longest match on the card. But
But you think it lived up to the hype of the fantasy booking match of WrestleMania?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. Yeah.
I don't know what do you mean lived up to the hype? Obviously, there's fans would have loved to have seen them hit every big move, that hit each other's big moves. Like, of course, you could always fantasy book more spots, make it an instant classic. But I thought it was a good match, and it's clearly telling a story that's going to go forward. Maybe AJ is going to join this. I doubt it, but maybe AJ is going to join this little group. Who knows? You know what I mean? So there's clearly WrestleMania was the start, not the end of the story. So we'll have to see. But I thought it was, again, good match, and it filled that, that wrestlers like WWE style. Usually Triple H gets that match. Obviously he couldn't this year. Yeah. So they kind of took the Triple H match. They took it under their wing, and I think it was very good.
Yeah, Ryan, I think you have a point with the Ministry of Darkness. When Edge was coming out during WrestleMania, I was like, he has such an Undertaker vibe to him. Yeah. Like when he was coming out, that's all I could think about.
I thought he was the Undertaker for a second when I was like doing
when he came out, right?
His Hall of Fame.
I mean, I know he said never say never, but 2 days is too fast. Never say never needs to go significantly longer than 2 days.
Man, so I want to go back to talk about Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. We talked about hype. This was not hyped at all, and it was bad. It was a big disappointment, I think, with rumors as far as saying that Ronda did not want to lose, and she's being salty backstage. So you're telling me they went so far?
That's not the rumor I saw. That's not the rumor I saw. I saw the rumor, and she has since gone on Twitter and said, "Shut up, you're wrong," to the people who were saying these rumors. Was that she wanted to go on last. She didn't like that they were not the real main event, the Stone Cold and Kevin Owens were. She again has since gone on saying, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the main event of WrestleMania. I have never once had an issue with Stone Cold Steve Austin main eventing over me. Your facts are wrong and you're spreading lies, so cut it out.
Damn.
So that was Ronda's response. But I mean, if you're saying she didn't want to lose, I didn't see that, and it's entirely possible she didn't want to lose. But I've been seeing that in addition to like the regular rumors of she hates fans and doesn't want to be there and all that stuff. But that's like baked in. People say that all the time about her. That was the rumor that I like genuinely saw, was that there was some anger backstage on her part for not going on last, and she has since publicly said that is obviously that's not true. Which makes sense. It's Stone Cold. I mean, if you've ever been a fan of professional wrestling, ever, you would let Stone Cold go on last. I don't know a single person who could. I don't even think Brock and Roman would have complained about that.
Yeah,
and they frankly are probably the only people who have a genuine, because they had obviously the major story of the biggest match of all time thing. I don't think even they would have complained, at least not publicly enough that someone could hear it and tweet it out. So yeah, but to your point, Matt, I don't think it was as bad as you're saying, but it was definitely Charlotte's worst match at Mania in a long time, which really it sucks because I like Charlotte Flair and I like her Mania matches. They're always.
I happen to see it's her birthday today at the time of this recording.
Happy birthday, Charlotte!
Happy birthday.
Yeah, the ending was weird. Yeah, the ending. Who will see this? Correct. But it was very weird. The ending. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
I didn't think there was much of a story behind it. It just felt like
they were trying to tap her out, right? The tapping each other out was the story, and then it ended when Charlotte tapped out. I know the match didn't end, but then the big boot. Why? Why would you win off a big boot? Like it doesn't make sense. She has another finisher, natural selection. She was already set up for it. She was on a knee. Like it literally, that would have made more sense. Like, she's arguing with the ref or trying to get the ref up because
after getting
the tap out, right? And then doesn't even see it. The natural selection comes in, and then you put over one of Charlotte's finishers, and doesn't make Ronda look so silly. I mean, she just got kicked in the side of the head and lost. What? Ronda Rousey just took a kick and said, "I'm gonna lose now." Like, it was very weird.
Another surprising ending.
Why push Charlotte over?
Oh, I mean, maybe Ronda's not staying. That's the
Played
thing with Ronda. Yeah, she could always be going away for a few months or a year now.
Got to film Fast 17.
It could be, right? Like, no, but seriously, she has a family now too, right? Like that's why she missed Hall of Fame. She was taking care of her kid, so she missed the Hall of Fame ceremony. So she might be like, yeah, I'll come in, do the big Mania road to WrestleMania, collect
check.
some money, right? But then go away until SummerSlam, or go away until Rumble, or go away until Survivor Series, something like that. Something big where they want to put a marquee match on. But that's my guess, is that Ronda's going away for a while. I think that I don't know why then you would have Charlotte be the champion at that time. It would have been cooler, if that Ronda's going away and not winning, have a new person be the champion, someone who doesn't usually get a Ronda Rousey-esque match. Like maybe Bianca could have just been champion and beat Ronda. But I don't know. That part I don't get. You're right, AJ. Like, why put Charlotte over? Like, I get why you would if she's leaving, but then why book that match? Just let Ronda do something else and lose, put someone else over. Charlotte doesn't need to go over Ronda. Charlotte could do, Charlotte should be putting other people over, actually, when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Do they just want to have her collect more wins over people?
Well, but how many more do you need?
I was about to say, she's like John Cena right now.
Yeah. I say this as a Charlotte Flair fan. I'm never once going to be like, oh, Charlotte will never win. Yeah, nothing can make me ever say Charlotte will never win. There's no match they could put. I mean, frankly, this match, the one that we got, was the only match that was probably like, yeah, Charlotte's not going to win, and then she won. So no one on the roster, like, she's always a threat to win on all three brands. I mean, she's been NXT champion just for fun in like the last 2 years. So she's I don't know why you would have her in this match if Ronda's not staying. And now maybe they're going to do a submission match at Backlash and something like that. But that feels weird. I would have just done it here. It doesn't really make sense, AJ. You're right.
And other things that don't make sense. I'm going to talk about the Drew and Happy Corbin, where we saw a attempted murder that didn't make sense, and they just have to break
that
the
makes
ring.
sense. He's been doing that for months now.
But do you think they had to break the ring because they needed some more time?
No, I don't think so.
But
I think that was the spot. It was a cool spot, actually.
I liked it.
I kind of liked it. Yeah.
The one thing that didn't make sense throughout was saying
that he's the baby face. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That and then Happy Corbin being undefeated until he clearly wasn't coming into this. But he won, and whether they just had to fit these two people in a match, even though you had Finn and Ricochet not wrestle at all, what did you guys ultimately think this? And does Drew have a shot of being relevant again when he's fighting these type of matches, or is it going to be a while?
Oh no, yeah, he's going to be relevant instantly because they're not going to take the title off Roman now, so someone has to feud with him for at least 2 months, and it's got to be. I was going to say Drew or Bobby, but since we have seen Raw, we know it's not Bobby. So it's got to be Drew.
And, you mentioned also Bobby, too, and we saw MVP turn on him.
Right.
No, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Now he's a lone wolf.
Slaps. I want Omos to be good at wrestling. He's not, but I really want him to get there because that song is cool. Really cool.
What did you think of the MVP turn on Mr. Lashley?
That's fine. Bobby Lashley's a face now. He's got a smile and all that. So but MVP doesn't make sense.
That's what makes him officially babyface, because he has a baby face.
Didn't you see me? I texted you as soon as in the pre-show when they interviewed Bobby Lashley. I said, look at how much Bobby Lashley is smiling.
Yeah.
He's officially turning face tonight. I texted you in the pre-show of WrestleMania because they do it to everyone. Finn Balor was cheesing literally 24/7 when he was a babyface. And then he went to NXT, became a heel, and stopped smiling. And that was essentially the character.
The acting skills.
Oh yeah. But I'm like, why just have Bobby Lashley smash the bad guys now? Like, the Hulk's not smiling in the Marvel movies.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to change that much. Listen, if he was cheating all the time, and I get that's why you have to get MVP off of him, because MVP is like, he cheats. That's his whole deal. He's a heel manager. So you got to get them away from each other, and I agree with that point. But it's just the fact that they stripped him of MVP, which is already going to be controversial with fans. And then you made him just got rid of all the cool stuff that he was doing as Hurt Business Bob. He should still have the power, like the suits. He should still look like the final boss. He's just smashing bad guys now, essentially. That should still be Bobby's character. But since it's not, he's not ready to face Roman. And so that leaves Drew, and Drew got a win over undefeated Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin, for those of you who watch all of the shows, lost the Monday before WrestleMania in a handicap match, but he wasn't pinned. And I guess that's how you stay undefeated, by not getting pinned and pretending you didn't lose. Although I did say that he wasn't also I said the End of Days had been kicked out of on the main roster. And apparently that part was true. On the main roster, no one has ever kicked out of End of Days. Because I looked it up.
I gripe about it.
I saw it in my head. I was like, John Cena kicked out at SummerSlam. I said that, and I looked it up, and I was wrong. John Cena did not. They didn't even let him hit End of Days on John Cena. But
Drew pulled off a huge accomplishment that changed the world of wrestling.
So the End of Days, that part of the story was 100% true. The undefeated since winning in Las Vegas was not true. But whatever. It was fine. The ring spot was cool. Drew got a win, which will be all he needs for SmackDown to call out Roman Reigns, probably.
Yeah. I think my only gripe about this match is just the End of Days. It had no build up. I think if you're gonna do that and have Drew kick out of it, at least have some build up towards the match. At least talk about it. But
they waited until the pre-show to even bring it up.
Yeah,
it was a fun fact.
Exactly. Seriously, it was like an offhand comment, and then it was the biggest story of the match.
Yeah, it's insane.
You're talking about wrestlers who smile a lot. This one is part of a team. You had Riddle, Riddle.
That's a different kind of smile. It works for Riddle.
And Randy Orton defeat the Street Profits and Alpha Academy in a really awesome triple threat tag team
very
match.
Good match.
Lots of action throughout. The Riddle RKO was sick, and it was so good that it wound up resulting in the Alpha Academy celebrating their loss, which was kind of funny and strange.
Strange process. Street Profits. Alpha Academy did not celebrate.
Oh yeah, sorry, Street Profits. They were like, "Yo, let's drink to our loss."
Yeah, drink some water.
Alpha Academy had some Gable on Gable violence coming their way after.
Yeah, and do you think
Gable
this helps the
Stevenson.
Gable? I don't care about this guy. I'm not interested. I don't think he has any personality besides being an NCAA champion. I don't know.
I mean,
that's a big deal, but
yeah, I was about to say that's a pretty big accomplishment in wrestling.
Like, is that going to be the character?
Champion. I think for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could see him being like a Kurt Angle type of character.
Well, I don't know if he has that kind of charisma, but yeah.
Yeah, like
that's the thing. He just seems boring.
Singlet or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He'll definitely have that kind of vibe. He was on the Olympic team too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's
Olympic gold and 2-time NCAA.
Yeah, no, he's super credentialed. So if he can actually wrestle, then that'll take him for a while. Because, Chad Gable, for an example, was just on the Olympic team. He didn't win, and I don't think he ever won an NCAA championship. And obviously he's on TV every week. Now he's hysterical. So Gable Stevenson, if that's in there, he hasn't shown it yet. But if that's in there anywhere, it would probably be smart for him to use it, because Kurt Angle was also hysterical. The sexy Kurt is still probably one of the funniest things that anyone's ever done on television. When he was feuding with Shawn Michaels, and he changed the words to be about him instead of Shawn. And he sang it, and he committed to it 100%. And so again, you don't have to be quite at sexy Kurt level, but you do have to at least be Chad Gable level of charismatic. And so I think that, or you have to be built like Brock Lesnar, and he's not. I understand he's got
that. He'll need a mic man if that happens, though.
Yeah, and he was kind of short comparatively, right? He doesn't look like a freak of nature. He's probably, again, a very good wrestler. I'm sure he could hurt me if he wanted to. But like Brock Lesnar looks like he could hurt me, as well as, of course, being able to. So unfortunately, he's not big enough to pull off the silent "I'm a good wrestler" character, which doesn't work for most people anyway. So he will definitely need some charisma. But he was with the Profits, and he had a drink with them, so that shows he's willing to have a good time, I guess. Right? But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. He got drafted to Raw. in the draft while he was still in college. He wasn't even an active competitor. He was still wrestling for the NCAA title when he got drafted to Raw. So he's officially a Raw superstar, not NXT, which that seems like a bad decision personally, but they seem to be pretty confident that he'll do well enough that he doesn't even need to do any of the developmental stuff on television.
And hopefully, he lives up to the hype. But regarding RK Bro and their win, are we just going to see them continue to kick ass, or are you going to see the breakup very soon? And a sad one.
I don't know about very soon.
I hope not. Yeah, I hope not.
You could just see Brittle's broken heart.
They got? Who else do they have?
I think they're the hottest thing right now in the tag team division.
On both shows.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like the best tag team match the WWE can produce, period, is Usos versus RK Bro, which they've done now 4 times. Despite not being November. But I could see them genuinely keeping this team together till November. It might be next WrestleMania before we see when we see the blow off between RK Bro.
Yeah. And apparently,
don't do this to me, bro.
Oh, I think Riddle should turn. Surprise everyone.
He's like, yeah, bro.
Right when Randy trusts somebody, he gets turned on.
Yeah, that would send Randy off the deep end too. I think it would be the better story. I don't think they'll do it because honestly, I don't know if Riddle could do it. And I don't say that like as if you have a character that's worked for years and he's been this king of the bros for years before he even signed with WWE. So
he's an MMA guy.
He reminds me a little bit of RVD.
Yeah, well, RVD played a pretty good heel though when he had to. I don't know if I've ever seen Riddle play a heel. And that's kind of the issue is he's the RVD character that was high all the time. RVD had a few other characters, like the whole damn show RVD was a heel. The weird ECW invasion RVD, where he was like a face in Philadelphia. Yeah, he was a face in Philadelphia, but nowhere else. So like he's played a heel before pretty well. I don't know if Riddle has, but hey, maybe he can do it, and that's what they're hiding from us. That underneath that like bro exterior, he's got like a darker character, more MMA style character, perhaps, who can turn on Randy. But I think that will be next year's WrestleMania. I think they're going to stay together for an entire year, just about at this point, because they're the best tag team that Raw has. They might be the best tag team that the company has in terms of popularity, and they're always good in the ring. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and wrapping these others before there's one last match or 2 matches to give its due diligence, but with between the women's tag team match and
just good.
Yeah, any comments? It was good.
It was good. None of these teams will be together next year.
Just had to do the filler.
I thought
Shayna will be in the match.
The
Natalia will be in the match.
To be honest, yeah.
That's all I know is next year it'll be the same match. Shayna will have a different partner. Natalia will have a different partner, and that'll be that.
And Carmella and Queen Zelina break up.
Well, they broke up, and then she made out with Corey. I don't understand. If he better be getting in a ring. I swear, he better be. I know he got cleared recently.
He got cleared. Yeah, I saw that. That was
so
crazy.
He better be getting in the ring for someone. Hope maybe Gable Steveson to just absolutely smash him to pieces. Because otherwise, what is the point of this?
You remember when him and Pac were in NXT? They were the NXT tag champs.
Yeah, no, I mean he's a good wrestler and he's very charismatic, but this character is annoying. Like, look how hot my wife is. We have no, seriously, that's the whole character.
Look how hot my wife is.
Not even just like
the
look
reality
how hot
show?
my wife is. Yeah, in the reality show, the whole storyline of that reality show is look how hot Carmella is. We have lots of sex. And it's on television and it's on their TV show. It's probably on his podcast. I don't listen to it, but I would have to assume that's what it is. It's literally he's a one-trick pony right now, so he's got to lace up. That's got to be where this is leading. But who knows?
How about Shane? How about Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Bush beat the New Day in a minute and a half?
Pass.
They had to get that. You're gonna give a pass on that?
Pass.
What about you, AJ? Everyone's sad.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much, sir.
How do you lose the freaking New Day tribute match? You have a Big E tribute match. You put the New Day, founded by Big E, in the match, and then they lose. What? They won a singles.
Imagine your Big E sitting at home with a brace around your neck. Right, and seeing your boys lose.
And also, what the heck were they doing with Pete Dunne? And I'm not going to call him Butch. He was scrappy doing. He was running around the ring. He was going to get himself disqualified. Like, I was mad when I thought the match was going to end via disqualification from, the New Day was going to win by disqualification because of Pete Dunne. And I was like, that's horrible. And then they made it worse. The only way to make it worse than that is that they don't win. And that's what they did. No, I mean, I'm glad obviously I was at Kofi Mania. It's probably one of the greatest wrestling moments ever in my mind, because I was there. And also probably in other people's minds, because it was genuinely very good. So I like both performers in the New Day. And I like that they got paid to be at WrestleMania, but this should have been cut off the show. There was no reason for this. It was 90 seconds and the wrong people won. And when I got pushed that on the first night, I would have just cut it and said, listen, we'll still pay you, and apologize profusely, because what they did was way worse than cutting them, frankly.
Yeah, I was a little upset with it too, because I feel the same way about you, Ryan, because that's the only WrestleMania I've ever been to. So I always got a soft spot.
You were there too?
Yeah. That's the only WrestleMania I've ever been to. So I was like, when Kofi won, I was like, this is, it doesn't get much better than this. But
absolutely, it was definitely
if they're gonna make them lose, might as well just cut it. You know what I mean? So
no, seriously, just pay him, apologize, run it on SmackDown.
Yeah. And another tag team match that was definitely interesting. You have the Miz and Logan Paul beat the Mysterios.
We didn't cover this
in a pretty solid match, and then the Miz turns on Logan Paul and he said, "Fuck you, Miz." After the match,
he did, yeah, couple times.
That's how it ended. So Logan Paul with his $5 million Pokemon card on his neck. How do you feel about his debut and everything?
The Pokemon card alone made it so good. He wore $5 million worth of cardboard to the ring. Like, that's such a heel move. He's so good at it. His brother was the perfect hype man for how heelish Logan was going to be on the pre-show. He literally showed up and booed random people walking by. It was perfect. And then the match started, and he lived up to it. I mean, I think he was genuinely, I don't want to count Pat McAfee, right? Because he's had a couple matches before. He's been training a little bit longer. He was also a pro, I guess boxer is a pro athlete too, but Logan Paul is
Mayweather.
Right. Well, he's a boxer, but he was known for his
McAfee's
YouTube.
known as an athlete. Yeah,
McAfee is known as an athlete. So I don't want to call him a celebrity. He's like a weird hybrid of celebrity and actual WWE personnel. But this was just as good, in my opinion, as Bad Bunny. I wasn't any more or less impressed. The only difference is
I wonder if you disagree.
They cast Bad Bunny correctly. They gave Bad Bunny, they made him a babyface, which was good. Bad Bunny was a babyface. And then they kept him a babyface because it made sense. Now, they didn't do that this time. They made him a heel, which was good because he's a very good heel. And then at the end, they tried to turn him babyface for the second year in a row, and he got booed. The Miz got cheers for attacking Logan Paul. He's a bad guy. And the thing is, they know it too. It's not even like, not to, hate on Ronda again. We're already moved past that. But the rumors that Ronda doesn't like being a bad guy, right? And so Ronda will go home if the options are be a bad guy or she won't wrestle if she's the bad guy, right? That's the rumor anyway. So obviously Logan Paul and his brother Jake Paul have no problem being a bad guy. It's their personal brand. When they're not in wrestling, they're a bad guy. That's the whole point. So why, if they're cool with it and everyone wants to boo, why are you doing this? Just let him be a bad guy. Just do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't agree with the whole reason to turn him face. I thought he was a great heel. I thought he was great at wrestling.
Yeah,
like he did the Three Amigos and then he did the 5-star frog splash. I freaked out. I don't know about you guys, but I freaked out. Yeah,
Logan Paul
was perfect.
Yeah, I say give him a full run and give him one of the U.S. titles or something.
Give him the U.S. title.
Yeah, give him the U.S. title.
The only thing he didn't do was shout out Dom's real daddy. If he had somehow worked that into his in-ring banter, it would have been perfect.
But yeah, do you think we're gonna see more Logan Paul sporadic throughout the year?
I wouldn't be mad.
Or because you think he'll get signed? Do you think he'll get signed to a contract?
Well, not like a contract. No, but they're gonna get a deal worked out with Logan Paul. He's got to at least fight the Miz.
Yeah, like
I mean, at the very as much as I don't want to see that because it's heel versus heel. Although you know what, Miz could probably do it. You know, he could.
I would
He
say
could.
it's entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, Miz can still be a total, total jerk and just get cheered. Yeah, as long as they don't make the Miz a good guy, or have Logan Paul being like, "I'm sorry, I was mean to the Mysterios." Don't let him apologize. They were both mean to the Mysterios. That's baked in. Nobody likes the Mysterios. Neither one of them. Let them both be jerks and just let fans cheer the Miz, and don't change their characters at all.
Literally, Logan Paul is one of the internet's biggest heels in general. And obviously your brother, if you could somehow put Jake Paul in.
No, I don't think he will. I know he said he would on the pre-show, but seriously, he wants to be a legitimate. Well, they both have a lot of money, and they are both legitimate boxers, and that they've boxed before. But I think he genuinely wants to be one of the biggest names in boxing. Jake Paul. Yeah, I think and showing up here, like I know some boxers have shown up, Mayweather, Fury, but when you're that new and when you're coming from entertainment to begin with, you want to keep the not the illusion, but you want to keep the persona of I'm a real fighter now. I'm not an entertainer anymore. So I don't think Jake Paul, as entertaining as that would be, should show up anytime soon. If he's genuinely trying to do this whole boxing thing. Obviously, Logan Paul either A, thinks I'm wrong, which is probably true, or B, is fine with not being a real, being more of an entertaining boxer and less of a legitimate contender. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's more of an entertainer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for him, it's perfect. But for Jake Paul, if he's trying to be like a real championship boxer, I think he should stay away for a little while.
I can see Jake walking out with him though, maybe once or twice.
Oh yeah, as like a a way to maybe again boo some random people again.
Get some more. Get more nuclear heat.
Get some more heat. Yeah.
But no fighting. No matches for Jake Paul until after he's either established himself or decided to leave the championship aspirations behind.
And one more boxer who went on Twitter saying, "Why wasn't I in WrestleMania?" Conor McGregor. He tweeted out his interests.
No, did you see the next tweet? It was like they're all scared of me or something.
Well, isn't that exactly what you want?
I think he's just talking shit, to be honest.
Yeah, he's not coming.
You don't think he would take that?
Well,
I think if he loses another fight, I think if he loses another fight in the UFC, then we'll see him in the WWE.
I don't know. I actually don't know if that's true. And listen, Vince McMahon is always wants to get mainstream press, and this would do that, but it wouldn't all be good press. Ronda Rousey, she lost too many times when she came in, but she had, her nose was clean, right? Like she was genuinely considered a decent person, and was just, she was done looking at new matches, and it made sense. There's a chance that it looks like Conor McGregor is A, washed up, can't compete anymore, and B, in a bunch of legal trouble and needs some money coming in.
Oh, so that's why
I don't know. And I think Vince would do it personally. I think he'd be like, yeah, they'll cover it for sure. But I don't know if Stephanie will let him do that. Or, I'm saying her as an example, but I don't know if everybody in the inner circle at WWE would be cool with it. I think that genuinely they might be like, we don't need him. Cain Velasquez did not work at all. Ronda Rousey has been okay, ups and downs. The MMA thing
Riddle's from MMA.
Yeah, but Riddle, but not really. Riddle did not sign directly from MMA. Riddle was
just has a record.
He was an independent wrestler for years before he got signed to NXT, and he got signed to NXT. So I don't know. I think Conor McGregor missed his opportunity. He's done a little too much partying, and he's just a little too not important right now, personally, in the world of combat sports. Now, I think if he wins, it might change the math a little bit. If he wins and he goes on a little streak again, but the problem is if he wins, Conor's not going to want to leave. So
he's going to stay in the UFC.
Yeah. Conor, the only time Conor will be available to do WWE is when he's no longer valuable anywhere else. And I don't know if WWE sees that as a winning proposition for them, especially if The Rock is coming back next year. Why would you take all of the negative press of Conor McGregor if you're
smile?
If you're gonna sell WrestleMania 39 off the back of The Rock, you don't need Conor McGregor on that card. You just don't. So why would you take all of the negative press of signing him and, hoping he doesn't assault another old woman or whatever, old man, whatever it was at that bar? Like, why would you take that risk when you don't need it? It doesn't make sense to me for them to take that risk unless he gets like super red hot. And if he does, then he's not going to want to come. So I think that there are two trains passing in the night.
Excellent points right there. And now probably, I mean, it's weird to say the most fun. There's just, in a night of so many fun moments, this really is up there for the most fun, where we had Johnny Knoxville defeat Sami Zayn in an Anything Goes match, aka a Jackass Live match or something, where we saw one of the greatest moments in the history of wrestling when Wee Man did a suplex to 6'1" Sami Zayn. That literally stopped the world for half a second. I mean, I could not have been more hyped for that. You see Chris Pontius, Party Boy, partying it up.
He did the whole thing too.
Everybody going around it. Sami Zayn was a good sport in this, and Johnny Knoxville is now undefeated at WrestleMania. What do you guys think of this?
I wonder what Wee Man's overall is in WWE 2K.
You gotta add him, right?
Yeah, because
DLC.
he put hands on Sami Zayn and then suplexed him.
Yeah,
he did.
He did the
Those
most
strikes.
damage out of all of them. Like that was insane. I've never seen him just pop out like that.
and then with the Lawyer Squad there and all the new members, it was just. How could you not like that? That was just nice.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean, some people really didn't like that. I will say.
Well, get a life, seriously.
I agree. I agree with you.
Come on, what is it supposed to be?
It was a lot lighthearted. Yeah.
I mean, he was full on Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
Johnny Knoxville blew up a turnbuckle. He blew up a turnbuckle. Like it was full Wile E. Coyote.
He literally put the thing up the trigger.
The mousetrap broke.
Yes. Yeah, the mousetrap broke. Yeah, but
so he had to
it was just that was the only part I didn't like. Was the mousetrap breaking?
You just
the
had
mousetrap was great.
You just had to pretend.
That was hilarious when it broke. Yes, you had to just slam it on him.
But that was the only part I didn't like. I wish that it had worked as intended when he pulled the string. That's it. Only complaint I have in the entire match. The hand, I laughed literally till I cried when they
did the classic
out of nowhere.
One of the greatest pops in cinema history from Jackass 3.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, when he ran into the hand, the biggest chop.
When he took that hand, I said, "Oh my God, this is the best." No, it was great. It was, I think, my favorite part of night 2.
Yeah.
Unironically, my favorite part of night 2, aside from maybe when Vince McMahon had a match.
Yeah, I watched that pump me up in the gym today. Vince McMahon taking the shirt off and going, but I mean that's all it was, just like classic Jackass stunts.
He held that hand up. And I said, "What the heck is he doing?" And the corner blew up, and I was like, "That's just silly." But it was good silly. It was like I said out loud, like, "That's silly." It was just good. It's like when he paints the thing. That was all they did. He could have painted a hole in the ring and fall in, and Sami jumped on it, and the hole was gone. I wish they could have figured out how to do that. That would have been hysterical. But that was the only thing missing from this Wile E. Coyote cartoon, the Roadrunner cartoon. It was just so funny.
Just a lot of fun, great slapstick. And I guess the last point too, just to turn it back with the Raw after WrestleMania, you had the main event, had the Bloodline come out. He told people to acknowledge him, and then the show ended. And
horrible.
I guess that was the big build for the Raw after WrestleMania. No one comes out. There's no little Easter egg. He just says, "Acknowledge me." And
he said, "Watch SmackDown" too. He did tell you to watch SmackDown.
Yeah, he told us to watch SmackDown. And that was it.
So that was a really specific advertisement.
Yes. Didn't like it. Roman Reigns, unfortunately, was one of the worst parts.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, one of the worst parts of WrestleMania and the Raw after WrestleMania. And it's not.
And it looks like his shoulder's okay.
Yeah, but I guess it's dislocated. He wasn't going to be out for like weeks or anything. It just was. There should have been something more. I think if all you're going to say is acknowledge me, then have him go on first. If you're going to end it with a promo, then end it with the Cody promo.
Yeah. That was literally perfect. A perfect
you could even
they could have done.
You could even almost do like what they did with Undertaker. Obviously, you won't get the same booze he got when he beat Undertaker. When he came out and said, like,
this is my
whatever
yard
he
now.
said, this is my yard now, and left. Like, he could have come out, done the whole thing, the 9-minute intro. Everyone's in there, holds up the 2 titles, hands them to Paul Heyman, grabs the microphone and says, "Acknowledge me." Music plays and he hits the back, and then Kevin Owens comes out afterward to do whatever he was doing.
With Ezekiel.
Correct. I think they should have just taken the first and the last and switched them. If that's all you were going to do, then make it really emphatic. Roman Reigns is not going to cut, Paul Heyman doesn't get to talk about who was the number 1, because it was the worst main event that I've seen all year. So you talk about how he's number 1. It was horrible. It was not worth staying up. I was pretty mad that I did, because I had a lot to do and I didn't do it because I was watching the Raw. So, I just think that they should have switched it, and he could have just done "acknowledge me, leave, people boo," which is what they were looking for. And then whatever you're going to do on SmackDown, just do it. People are going to watch SmackDown. No one's going to not watch SmackDown because he didn't explicitly say on Raw to watch SmackDown. I mean, if you're going to watch SmackDown, you're going to watch SmackDown. So, and I think you are, because again, the reason they're doing this is because Drew is on SmackDown. So they can't have anyone fight him on Raw, even though they're all in the same building.
Yeah,
Drew is on
right.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
But
never a dull moment. But I think that wraps everything up. That's all she wrote on this WrestleMania weekend, and it was a lot of fun. It really was.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what they're planning next year. It would be a huge letdown in the new SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Well, Inglewood, but and having this event not live up to the hype like it did today, but this past weekend, but keep on keeping on, right? And we'll stay in touch with this. Figure Money in the Bank would be a good time. We could get back with it with wrestling pods, and we could just pod on other stuff for the future too, because this is what's great about having stuff like this.
Having productive conversations.
Nothing but, guys. Perfect way to end it, Ryan. But AJ the Man, Anthony Fernandez, Ryan Page, thank you, gentlemen, for covering this with me and doing a great job as always. And we'll see you two very soon.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys too. See you later.
See ya.